So, what is everything really made of? I mean, at the most fundamental level. It's one of the biggest questions we can possibly ask. Today, we're going to dive into a pretty radical idea called the harmonic scale framework. And fair warning, its answer might just change how you see, well, pretty much everything.
You know, it all starts with something simple, something you've seen a million times. We've all stood at the edge of an ocean and just watched the waves roll in. But what if that constant, rhythmic energy is more than just water? What if it's a hint, a clue to the very fabric of reality itself? That's the core idea we're going to unpack.
For the longest time, physics has basically told us that reality is built out of tiny little balls, particles like electrons and quarks. Well, the harmonic scale framework, or HSF, just tosses that idea right out the window. It starts with this one incredibly simple but world-changing question. What if it's all just waves?
According to this framework, there are no particles. Period. Everything, and I mean absolutely everything, from the smallest quark to the biggest galaxy, is a wave. Not a particle that sometimes acts like a wave. No, a pure wave from the ground up.
So if an atom isn't a tiny little solar system with things orbiting as center, what is it? Well, HSF says it's what's called a standing wave. Think of the vibration on a guitar string when you pluck it. Except this wave is trapped inside a three-dimensional boundary. It's the shape of that container that decides which waves get to exist. And that's what gives an object its form, its substance.
Okay, but how is this all organized? It can't just be one big chaotic ocean of waves, right? And it's not. HSF suggests that reality is neatly structured into 5 fundamental layers, or channels. You can kind of think of it like an old-school radio with 5 different stations, all broadcasting at the same time to create the world we hear and see.
And here they are, the 5 channels. K1 is the matter wave. This gives us our electrons and quarks. K2 is the electromagnetic wave, which we know as light. K3 handles collective waves, like sound. Okay, so far so familiar, right? But this is where it gets really mind-bending. K4 is a wave they call the Neutrofield, and HSF proposes this is what dark matter actually is. And K5, the big one, is the cosmological field, the wave behind dark energy. So in one elegant picture, our entire physical world is just a symphony of these 5 channels. It's a whole lot simpler than the complicated particle zoo of the standard model, that's for sure. Now, of those 5 channels, there's one that this framework says is the most important. It's the most powerful, the most mysterious, and it's basically this secret engine driving almost everything in the universe. We have to talk about the K4 wave. This number says it all. The stuff we see, the matter and light in the K1 and K2 channels, that's just the tiny visible tip of a colossal energetic iceberg. The HSF model says that this hidden K4 wave stores over 99.9% of the energy and mass of every single object in the universe. Let that sink in. So the takeaway here is that K4 is doing all the heavy lifting. It's this massive energy bank account inside every particle. It's what provides the glue that holds atomic nuclei together, stopping them from flying apart. And like we said, the theory says it is dark matter. Even gravity gets a new look here. It's just a slow interaction between this super powerful K4 wave and the even bigger K5 cosmological wave. K4 is the hero of this story, no doubt about it. Okay, so a new model is great, it sounds cool, but does it actually work? Can this wave idea explain some of the real puzzles in physics that we're currently stuck on? Well, the framework claims it can, and it does it by offering a totally new kind of logic for how the universe works. And here's the core mechanic. This is the key. The lower energy waves, matter, light, all that stuff, they aren't strong enough to boss around the immense K4 wave with brute force. They can't. Instead, they control it with geometry. Their wave patterns create a kind of cage, a jail, with very specific rules that forces the K4 wave into a certain shape. It's a relationship based on structure, not strength. All right, let's put this whole jail idea to the test. Let's talk about one of the most famously weird and elusive particles in all of physics, the neutrino. It barely interacts with anything. Where does it even come from? HSF offers a surprisingly simple answer. So first, picture an atomic nucleus. In the HSF model, the structure of its protons and neutrons, all its K1, K2, and K3 waves, they create this stable, confined space. These are the prison walls. And what's locked inside that prison? The nucleus's K4 wave, its huge reserve of energy. It's incredibly powerful, but it's stuck in there, forced into a very specific shape by the geometry of those prison walls. But then something happens.
a nuclear reaction, fusion, fission, radioactive decay, you name it. This violently changes the structure of the nucleus. The prison walls instantly change their shape, and suddenly, the old K4 wave pattern doesn't quite fit inside the new prison anymore.
And here is the punchline. That little piece of the K4 wave that got squeezed out, the bit that no longer fits, it breaks off and escapes. It's free. It's no longer trapped by the prison of the other waves. And this free, untethered piece of a K4 wave, flying through space on its own, is what we call a neutrino. It's not some brand new particle created out of thin air. It's just a piece of the universe's hidden engine that's been set free.
So let's just step back for a second. If this model is even remotely on the right track, the implications are just staggering. It wouldn't just change our textbooks. It could change what is fundamentally possible.
This slide really captures the whole philosophical shift. On one hand, you've got particle logic. It's messy, a whole zoo of particles, different rulebooks that don't talk to each other, and it's all based on brute force. But on the other hand, this wave logic is simple, it's elegant, it's one unified system of just 5 channels, all governed by the beautiful rules of geometry and harmony. And this leads us to the biggest what-if of all. If reality isn't made of hard little bits we have to push around, but instead is a set of interacting, tunable waves, maybe we don't have to use brute force. Maybe, instead of building bigger rockets, we could learn how to change the way matter couples to its wave channels. We could, in theory, learn to tune reality itself. And that's the final mind-bending thought I want to leave you with. If everything you see, everything you feel, everything you are, is just the beautiful harmony of these 5 wave channels playing together, what happens when we finally figure out how to change the station?